Did you know that AKT London sells an average of one product every 30 seconds? Welcome to the Cosmetic Chronicles, the podcast where history meets beauty and tells the amazing stories behind some of the world's most notorious brands. I'm your host, Sarah Carvalho, and I'm a beauty journalist who has been obsessed with makeup since my first swipe of mascara. I have a very special episode for you today. I'm joined by Ed Currie and Andy Coxon, the co-founders of the incredibly successful body care brand AKT London. In this conversation, we talk about how their deodorant, their first product, grew from homemade batches in their kitchen, how they build their really unique and beautiful fragrances, and why the theater community is always at the core of everything they do. So without any further ado, let's get on with the show. Ed and Andy, thank you so much for being here on the podcast and sharing the story behind AKT London. Thank you so much.
Hello, lovely to see you.
Hello. Hello. So obviously I dive into the history of beauty brands. And so I always like to go back to like before the beginning, which for you both was the musical Beautiful, the Carole King musical in the West End, where you two actually met. So did you ever think, before this even came up, this idea, did you ever think about doing anything else besides performing, or was it purely circumstantial, a global pandemic that changed the course of your futures?
Exactly that. This was not the plan at all. And I saw myself being an actor forevermore, to be honest. This has just been one of those things that's come along and taken us to places we never expected.
Yeah, it's kind of unreal how far we've come since being performers. Like, we sell one product every 30 seconds. We've sold over 2 million of these products. And to think back then when we were in this show, we were making a deodorant on the hob in our kitchen. Like Andy said, no intention of starting a business. So it's kind of just insane how far and how big it's got. Now we've got a full body care range as well, which is ridiculous. So yeah, never thought it would happen. There's going to be performing in shows, but it's been such a happy surprise, a happy accident.
Yeah. We were very successful actors. We had very good careers behind us. But as an actor, you always have a sideline hustle. And this sideline became our full-time, which is quite a rare story.
Like you had said, you were making deodorant at home. So tell me a little bit about how you both recognized that there was this problem that you wanted to fix and how you actually started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when you're in shows, obviously you're doing 8 shows a week. You got those 2 matinee days. You're wearing the same costumes night after night, running up and down 5 flights of stairs, and you're dancing, the hot lights, etc. So it's a really sweaty business. And I was on stage at the Palladium, which is a big theatre in London, just around the corner from us, in a show called A Chorus Line. American listeners will know what that is. British
Never heard of it.
And I was playing Bobby, and my Sheila turned to me halfway through the show and said, "Ed, you effing stink." And to be fair, I was wearing this woolen jumper that just never got washed throughout that run. So that kind of started my intrigue in smelling better. No deodorant was working for the sort of extreme pressure of performing on stage. So started making it in the kitchen. No real idea what I was doing. Very much kind of just blending ingredients together that I'd heard about. And then after 3 years of formulating it, and Andy was living with me at the time as my guinea pig.
Yeah.
We handed it out to every single person that was in a West End production at the time, so over 1,000 people. And they just went crazy for it. They were like, what is this magic product you've created? It's not staining my clothes. It's not staining my costumes. It gets me through a 2-show day with 1 application. It smells delicious.
You can put it all over the body. So it was a big selling point to actors that get these costumes that are handed down. And like Ed says, running around the theatre, the on-stage stuff is not just the hard stuff. It's the backstage choreography as well. So you are constantly sweating in the same clothes every night. I was watching Ed throw away T-shirts weekly from stains, trying to figure out something. So when you got this formulation, that's when we sat down and said, should we try and make this, help pay our rent when we're not performing? Like I said earlier, sidelines are really important. Side hustles are really important for actors. And so the plan was to get this made and sold on somewhere like Etsy or at farmers markets.
Never did we think we'd now be in Sephora.
Space XK, all across these global stores, and just we surpassed what we ever thought was possible a long time ago.
So do you think that when you started giving the products to the performers and you started to hear their response, did you think that was the specific moment where you were like, oh, this could be a thing? This isn't just something that we can use. Like, this could actually be something bigger.
Yeah, I think it was when we started getting requests for pots of it, because back then we were making it in the kitchen and we'd pour it into little screw lid tins and we'd sell them for like £10 a pot, and we'd get orders in for about £200 worth, and we'd be like, great, that's rent sorted. And
I can eat this week.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of change. Yeah.
So that was when we went, oh, okay, this could be something. But what really took us over the line was when we met someone that has their own skincare line and a formulation factory and all of this stuff. When we were watching a play that my friend was in, and the guy who has his other brand, his wife is in the show, and she introduced us to him, and he said, oh my God, I can get you a mentor and help you sort this out. Ed and him were just chatting in the corner for hours at this event. And then the next thing we know, we've got a mentor and someone telling us, raise this amount of money and you can make this in a factory and go proper with it.
So we did a Kickstarter campaign, and we kind of went to everybody in the West End because they were the people that we knew. Not that any of them have any spare cash, but we were like, please purchase this up front. You already love it. Purchase it up front. We can go and get it made properly. Actually set up a company, make sure that we're doing all the proper regulations, etc. And we raised about £55,000 through this Kickstarter, and we had 3,000 orders, and we were just like, oh shit.
Yeah, the target was £12,000 as well, and we hit that on day one. So the rest of the month, like we say, it just blew up out of nowhere because people got behind us from the West End theatre community. So we owe them a lot.
The theater community is a very tight-knit community as well, and they clearly were supportive from the beginning. This is a very homegrown, boots on the ground kind of company, starting, mixing things in your kitchen, having people support you monetarily, but also just like emotionally and mentally. That must have been very important in those early days.
Yeah, that foundation still remains today. With us being such a large company now, it still feels very authentic to us and that community. I still see friends, and everyone in the community is so proud of us, and we're famous for making deodorant across the West End community, which is what we never expected, to have this global brand and full body care range. It's sort of, they're all shocked by the whole thing.
What I love as well is that, we did that initial Kickstarter, but we've been out to the crowd 2 times since then, and we've actually raised about £2 million from the crowd. And most of them are from the West End community, or models, creatives, people that have just really got behind us and are now invested. So we've got over 1,500 investors in ACT, as well as institutional investment, of course, and that it makes me feel very proud. We've come from a community that supported us, and hopefully we'll give them a nice return one day.
I think you probably already have, and that's it's like a reminder of community, and it's a nice reminder that humans really do want each other to succeed.
We will forever be grateful for community, and we will always use them with everything we do going forwards.
Yeah. And just coming back to the early days of mixing in your kitchen, just out of curiosity, what kind of things were you mixing in there? What were you doing research as to what goes in deodorant? Were you just kind of mixing scents? What did that look like?
Well, initially it was just kind of a little mixy mix, try. I remember the first batch I made, I got a huge rash, but I didn't smell as much as normal. And I was like, oh, well, something in this is working and something's really not working. And so it kind of led me on this path to discovery. And so the formulation now is very similar to what I created back then. Coconut oil was one of the main ingredients there, shea butter to kind of moisturize. And then we created something called Deo Barrier Complex, which is a combination of 5 plant and mineral powders, including diatomaceous earth, zinc oxide, magnesium oxide. And these powders, they sit on the skin invisibly, so they absorb perspiration. So it kind of acts just like an antiperspirant, but without blocking your pores. There's no aluminium salts in there. So it absorbs sweat to keep you feeling dry all day, but it also cleanses and it deodorizes the skin. So really one application and you are good to go all day long.
It sounds crazy to have made it in the kitchen, because that's a very scientific explanation. And Ed was literally researching, right, what else cleanses, deodorizes, has antibacterial properties, all of these elements. And the kitchen literally looked like a meth lab at one point. We just had powders everywhere and test tubes and different formulas in the fridge. Which one, do we cool it down quicker or slower, or all these testers? And it was
I
quite
remember
fascinating.
One very hot day, and Andy picked up the massive bucket of coconut oil from the lid, and it just
No, it was a cardboard box.
That was
It was the bag was inside a cardboard box, but it was a hot day like today, and the bag had completely turned to liquid. And I picked it up, and it completely disintegrated, and a tidal wave of coconut oil went across our rug.
And you know how easy that is to clean.
I was still there until I got rid of that rug.
Yeah, R.I.P. rug.
Yeah, R.I.P. rug, West Elm.
Well, you had mentioned that you spent 3 years creating that very first product, that deodorant bomb. So that was obviously once you had your mentor as well, and you're formulating, like you said, according to regulations. But how did you know when it was finally ready? Did you ever get to a point where you were like, we're just chasing perfection, it's been 3 years, we just got to send it out? Or were you like, no, this isn't going to come out till it's done?
I think we're always chasing perfection, if I'm honest. I mean, after those 3 years, that's the kind of point where we went out to the West End community and did that Kickstarter. And I guess their feedback really solidified what we already knew, that it was a great product. But even now, like we have to continually reformulate. Different regulations come into play every month, it feels like. So you're having to constantly do little tweaks here and there, make it more temperature stable. Maybe one time we experienced a little bit of grain in there because shea butter crystallizes. Who knew? So it's been a huge learning curve for us. How, especially using naturals, because naturals are very volatile chemicals, really. So using natural fragrance, I mean, yeah, the saga continues.
Well, especially when you start growing globally and you have to start thinking about shipping, and then you have to start thinking about how long things are on shelves. Like, it's not as like direct to consumer as like handing it to someone in the West End. It's like you have to really think about the stable shelf life of the product.
And also being global as well, different countries have different regulations, so you have to think about that. And obviously you don't want to have different packaging for every single country that you're in, because that's a lot of SKUs to handle. So, I mean, for me personally, I feel like I'm at university. It's been such a huge education.
Every day. The formula we finalized in the kitchen, when we took it to the factory, they found it really hard to replicate the performance of it, because it was so, even though it's ingredients that anyone can get hold of, it was how they were mixed and the amount of each one that was perfect for the performance. So it took us another year and a half with the factory to actually get them to make it match that performance level, because we refused to launch it, like you say, where we're chasing perfection. Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, we only did this because we needed something that actually worked. So we weren't going to let performance take a back seat. So I think if we knew what we were doing, it would have not taken as long.
And I also want to point out the formula in the texture. So obviously when people think of deodorant, they think of like sticks or sprays, but you chose a balm instead. So what led you to that format, and what did it allow you to do that more traditional formats couldn't do?
Here it is. I think
here's mine.
Yeah.
I showed this before. This is my well-loved deodorant balm.
Loved. We love that. I think we're not blind to the fact that many people will find this an odd concept, but all we can say is once you try it, do you want to show it on your skin on the camera, Ed? Once you try it on your skin, you just see it's not messy, which is most people's concern, and applying with your fingers is an odd concept for most, but it rubs in and disappears immediately and turns into invisible powders. It sits on the skin to absorb moisture. That's the magic. If we were to make this into a stick or a roll-on format, that would mean watering down an active formula like this, it would be about 60-70% wax or water to stick it in those well-known formats. So we made the choice very early on to stick to what we have created. We didn't know how to make an aerosol or a roll-on or a stick. This is what we figured out, and it performed. So we've taken it on ourselves to educate, which makes it harder for us. It's a barrier to entry, but we're willing to wave that flag for innovation because deodorant hasn't changed for decades. And when I say you have to try this to believe it, I'm not saying that coming from a marketing background. I'm just saying, if you want to try it because you're unhappy with your deodorant, just try it. Then let us know what you think, because I guarantee it will be a very different experience. And it works like an antiperspirant, which most deodorants cannot say.
And also it's a natural deodorant, which has another layer of perception in terms of its effectability. How do you overcome that perception of it being, one, a different format, but then also it being a natural deodorant, which people already have their thoughts about?
I think for us, I mean, performance is the key word for the brand anyway. Obviously, we were actors, but all of our products, they have to perform. Our tagline is born to perform because the product was born to perform, as were we. So it's really about efficacy first and foremost. Like, we created this to work. We didn't create it for packaging. We didn't create it to be a lifestyle, marketing business.
We also didn't create a natural deodorant. We created a deodorant that worked. It just happens to be natural because natural has such bad reputations, because there are some really bad ones on the market. We've all experienced them. And so that's why I think we're even more willing to stick to the fact that this new format of a balm will work, because that, honestly, the power is in the format of this powder that when you try it, you'll get it.
And what's great is that it's so much more hygienic than using a stick, because you can use this everywhere. Like, you wouldn't put a stick on your underarms and then under your breasts and then between your legs and then on your face.
Right.
Like this, because you're applying it with your fingertips, hopefully you're applying it to a clean body. You've stepped out the shower, you've washed your hands, and you can apply it anywhere on the body. And even, like, I think guys in particular are like, oh, it's going to make all my hair stick together. I'm like, well, you've used a roll-on and that makes your hair all stick together, and then you have to wait for 5 minutes to dry it or get a hair dryer under there before you can put a shirt on. But, I've got a hairy arm here and it just completely disappears. There's no interaction with the hair whatsoever. It feels dry to the touch. And also the hairs increase the surface area of the active ingredient, so you've got more product there to absorb sweat throughout the day.
So yes, the format is the win.
Yeah.
That's actually the winning part. It's not actually the hard part. It's like the winning ingredient. Yeah.
It just looks odd, and we get that, and we're willing to own that and be like, yeah, we get it. It's weird, but just go and try it. Then let us know. You're welcome in advance.
I also want to talk about the fragrance, because this feels like the fragrance feels almost like the main character. It's not just like a supporting, oh, it also smells nice. There's obviously a lot of thought that goes into the fragrance. I feel like I haven't smelt anything quite like it before. So tell me a little bit about the process of how you approach creating scents to make it feel elevated and not just trying to mask odor.
This is my favorite part of the business, is creating the fragrances. So all of our fragrances are named after scenes. You can see on the box, it says Scene 1, Exterior, Orange Grove. Very much how you'd read in a play. And so that's been the kind of fun theatrical element for us. I think we've got the background and the authority to be able to talk theatrically in our tone of voice. And so when we first created the concept for fragrances, having never worked with a fragrance house before, we were like, how do you brief a fragrance? How do you create a fragrance? What do I need to say? So we wrote scripts, because that's what we know. So we wrote characters, we wrote scene descriptions, like, this is exactly what I want it to feel like. And I remember the nose at the fragrance house was just like, this is the most fun brief I've ever been given. And every time we submit a new brief, they're just like, yay, thank you, Anne. Work on something new with you again.
They're always a bit silly as well.
Yeah, they're a bit whimsical, they're a bit silly. There's always a dash of humor in there. On the side of our boxes as well, we've written like full scene descriptions, how you'd read it in a play. But we're not so literal. It's not always just about the notes that are in the fragrance. There's some fun things. There's like joie de vivre, Tuscan sun, afternoon siesta, as well as, you know, a bit of Negroni and some Neroli blossom. I love how Orange Grove ends with Italian cypress, petitgrain, and La Dolce Vita.
Because fragrance is a feeling, and we were fed up of what is available on the market, and we're not trying to dupe fragrances that exist. We want to make our own and create new worlds, and we've really taken it to that fine fragrance level. So, like you say, and thank you for saying that, they don't smell like anything out there. You really do have to smell them to find what you like. And we've created a wide variety so that everyone can choose their own scent. It's very subjective. They're completely gender-free, but we've got quite masculine to feminine on the spectrum. There's all kinds for everybody.
What I love as well, there's so many customers rotate through them.
Mhm.
Like, there's never a clear favorite for them.
No.
They always, if you look at our data, they are cycling through and choosing a different one each time they purchase.
And these are available in all of our products as well. We've replicated the fragrance across the body wash, the body balm, the body scrub, the body oil. It's all in the full range.
The deodorant was your first product, and you perfected that one for 3 years. And then how did you decide when and what was going to become the next range? Did the fragrance come first in the balms and then the different products, or was it the products and then deciding to expand the
It's really
fragrance?
hard for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was hard because this was such a happy accident almost. So how the hell do you follow on from that? And we reached out to our community and said, what do you want? What would you like to see? What are you missing? Because we know what we'd like as men and bougie people. We like nice things. We want to know what is our audience after, and luckily they aligned with what we wanted, and it included
Funny that.
the range in front of us and the things we're working on in the future as well.
Yeah, I think it's always been a constant conversation with our customers about what it is that they want from us. Obviously, they're demanding different products in body care. They wanted a body wash. And for us, it's about that thoughtful innovation as well with products, rather than like a constant innovation. We're not always trying to like change the game, but it's like, what are the problems that our customers are having with their current purchases? How can we actify it? How can we, add some really great new ingredients in there? How can we make it feel like a sort of sensorial, theatrical experience when you're using it? Because we want it to feel like a little ritual in the morning. So like with our foaming body scrub, the way that it changes state, it almost has this like magic to it. Like most body scrubs leave you with like a very oily residue. The particles don't dissolve, so you're always finding coffee scrub particles between your toes and in your hairs. And so for us, it was like answering those problems, but making it feel sensorial. So the fragrance, obviously, as you said, main character. Loved your little theatrical puns there.
Yeah.
And then the scrub particles slowly dissolve and foam into this milky sensorial foam. So that kind of indicates when you move on to the next section of your body. And we've added papaya enzymes in there as well.
Papaya is like an AHA, correct? So you have like a very gentle exfoliation in there that isn't too harsh.
And then with our body wash concentrate, again, a concentrate is quite innovative, but the number one ingredient in any body wash is water. I'm just like, you're in the shower. You don't need to be adding more water. So we removed that. We added in some great new ingredients in there as well, like prebiotics to help with the skin microbiome, olive squalane. So it's really deeply hydrating, because our customers were saying, I'm sick of my skin feeling squeaky after body wash. Again, it's got this beautiful fragrance, but when you use like maybe a bean size amount, you activate it with water in the shower and it just foams and foams and foams like magic again. It's that theatrical experience. It feels like transportative.
You asked the question, did we start with fragrance? There was an option when we could have put our fragrances into existing formulations and churned out a full range really quickly. Hand soaps, shampoos, we could have done it all very quickly, but it just didn't sit right with us. We are performance first. We don't want to create products for the sake of it. Everything has to have a bit of innovation, feel a bit theatrical, and be beautiful. And that was why it took us a long time to follow up from the deodorant, because we wanted to instill our same ethos that the deodorant had into the rest of our range. So it's still quite a small range, to be honest, and it's not going to get that much bigger, but
Some
never
fun
say never.
things on the way.
Tease, tease. Well, one thing I kept noticing when I was researching and also just using the product as well is that everything is very considered design-wise. So the recyclable aluminum, the font that you use as well is that marquee font, the key, the assistant, which helps you get every last drop. Was that always something you wanted to have? How did that come about?
Well, to be honest, when we first started it, we were so embarrassed about our theatre background that we kind of didn't want to talk to it. It was at a time when niche beauty brands were out. Everything was about natural ingredients and sustainability. The world has changed quite a lot, but it just didn't feel right to us. I mean, we're like, oh. And anybody that we told our story to, they were like, "This is the best founding story we've ever heard of." You guys were in the West End.
Just to add, when he says we were embarrassed about our story originally, it was because we didn't think people would take two actors seriously with a product. So we thought, well, we'll just hide behind the brand. But like Ed said, as soon as we started telling people, they said, that's an amazing, genuinely authentic story. Lead with that.
Yeah.
So we started to pepper little bits in to the brand, like the name ACT, because we were actors. Born to perform, our slogan, because we were born to perform. The product's born to perform. Like you say, the marquee text. It's not ramming theatrical elements down your throat, but it's if you know, and then you get it. And the scene names and all of that, it's there, and it feels considered, and it feels special to us, and it's standing the test of time. This has been around now for 6 years, and it's still very much
saved on everyone's Pinterest boards.
It's very popular.
It's aesthetically pleasing. Even your visuals on social media, your mini videos and things like that, all of that is very performer based. Is that, again, something where you were like, we're leaning into it? We know we want to kind of create these little mini movies around each scent. Was that something that you always wanted? Or again, was that something that kind of came out later?
Yeah, well, that's the joy of owning a brand, is you can choose what role you're going to play in the brand. So me and Andy are the co-creative directors of ACT. And to be honest, our experience in theatre and film has really translated well. We create the concepts for these movies, and we've made a fragrance film for each fragrance. We wrote the script, we directed it, cast it. We're in the editing room. I do a lot. Actually, both of us have done voiceovers on those campaigns.
We feature in a few of them in hidden ways.
Yeah. But I guess that's our skill.
And we're entertainers. Yeah. So we wanted our brands to entertain as well. And that is what the world wants at the moment. With all the platforms you've got on social media, if you don't entertain, you are going to hide in the background. And I think that when we launched the limited edition fragrance last year, we did our first fragrance film, and it popped off, sold out, and was like, okay, we're onto something. We know what to do now in terms of entertaining, and we are going to keep that going and continue to move with our new ideas and concepts.
Yeah, and like you said, fragrance is more than a scent. It's like a feeling for a lot of people. So to be able to put it into a visual film it makes sense, because it just has an emotion behind it, and the people that connect to it are obviously going to really be intrigued by what you create.
Exactly. And obviously we used to be just online. It's really hard to sell fragrance online, so you have to be able to show the fragrance. Luckily, now that we're in Sephora, Space NK, across the globe, it's easier for people to go and actually try them, smell them. But then if they want to go to socials, they can see a hell of a lot more of a world that we've been creating. Entertaining.
Yeah, and like you said, you're now in Sephora. Congratulations. That's an incredible feat. So I will ask, though, this is not Sephora specific, but just being in a retailer, you can sometimes be pressured to move faster, maybe release more products, release new launches. ACT has always felt deliberately slower and more considered. So how, if you even have to, do you feel like you have to balance the need to release products because it's a trend or on a cycle, or do you feel like you can still very much do it in the ACT way without needing to adapt to what everyone else is doing?
I think that's been the joy of talking to Sephora, is that they've brought us in because we're ACT.
They get it.
Yeah. They haven't brought us in and then forced us to change and mold and do this, do that. I'm going to change that about your brand. Like they fell in love with the brand. We met them at the Business of Beauty Awards last year, where we won the award for creative execution. They were on the panel. And so that conversation started back then. And so that's kind of been fun. Obviously, you're in the kitchen. I don't know if you've heard about In the Kitchen with Sephora. So you do meet them every 6 months or every year to kind of walk through your NPD roadmap. But
the plans we have in place, they're very excited about and have not. I think if some brands go in and don't have ideas or aren't as creatively driven as we are, they'll want to have a bit of a drive with it, which is understandable because they need productivity too. But the ideas we have, they are already excited about something we have coming out next year that we've fully packaged up and filmed and it's ready to go. They're very much on side and they are waving our flag, which is a wonderful feeling. Same with Space NK as well. They over in the UK, it's doing wonderfully in Space NK. All of our stuff is resonating with their audience. They get what we're doing. They just want to know what we're doing. And Sephora put us on a billboard in Times Square for Pride. That's epic. They did that. We didn't ask for that. We didn't pay for it. They did it. And it's just, that is what they are. They're supporting new brands. Yes, we're on the next big thing wall. We don't have the gondola yet, but the aim is to get to that point, and they will offer their advice and opinion on if they think we're moving in the right way. And yeah, at the moment, body care is what they're trying to invest in, and we are the personal performance company with a full body care brand. So it's aligned very well with their mission.
And it's good that you're able to find a retailer that also can see your vision. When I talk to founders, that always is the challenge, is when you do it and who you do it with. And those seem to be very considered decisions they're very strategic as well. So it's good that you're feeling that they're letting you be you.
And this is very early on for brands to do such a thing. We didn't expect this to happen for probably another couple of years. So we really had to develop the company to be able to feed into that beast as well. So that was a big learning curve, which we're just on the other side of at the moment, I say, and it's working.
I have a segment on my podcast where I call it the rabbit hole of the week. So when I do research for the history of brands, I always end up falling down a rabbit hole, some offshoot of whatever it is I'm learning about. And I have found when I talk to founders of brands, they usually have a rabbit hole that they've gone down when they're building a product or creating a fragrance or anything like that. So was there ever a rabbit hole that you fell down that completely changed the outcome of a product, or maybe you had a great idea but it didn't lead anywhere? What are your rabbit holes?
Great
that's
question.
a good question. Yeah, we've had a few. I think in the very early days, we just took on some investment, and I think we were like, oh, we need to be beholden to investors instead of the customers. And so we launched a candle, which was the stupidest idea, because how do you go from a deodorant to a candle? Like a complete misstep. So that was a big learning curve and a rabbit hole that we went down.
Yeah.
And then other products, we've gone down the route of developing them. You get to certain kind of gate process, get to certain gates in the process, and then you realize this isn't the right fit, or it's not the way to go. The customer isn't really demanding this. Maybe it was a bit of a vanity project. Great product, but we've just put them on the shelf in the office. Maybe they'll emerge one day, but
I think for both of us as well, we both fell down educational rabbit holes to get where we are, because we didn't know how to do any of the stuff we now know how to do. We both have musical theatre degrees. That doesn't help you launch a business. But the transferable skills of being a performer do, in terms of asking for help, learning, not willing to go on stage unprepared. So we would dive into YouTube videos and podcasts, and we bought books, and we signed up to courses, and we learnt.
Remember books?
Yeah, right. We learned how to do the business side of things, which became, I guess we're still in the rabbit hole, to be completely honest with you. I'm still diving in. We've always said we never want to be at the top of our company. Yes, we want to lead and guide everybody in terms of what our mission and vision is, but we never want to be the experts. You have experts for a reason, so we bring in all of those people to help us and help the brand. So everyone is involved, but it's our vision and visuals that take it to the next steps.
I've always said as well, like, if you think you are the best at something, you discourage the opportunity to learn anything. You assume that you know. And so anybody that tries to tell you, I don't want to hear it, don't want to listen to it. So for us, we've always been like, we're not the best. We're not the best, and nobody else is better. That's kind of been our mentality. So it kind of creates this equal playing field and allows you to absorb information from different people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's wrong.
So there's always going to be wrong things and right things, and we're not afraid to try. We always say as a company, we're always in rehearsal, always figuring it out, but we will never go on stage unprepared. You can go wrong, but your superpower is getting up and doing it again and
getting it
right. And it's learning from your mistakes, and that's what rehearsals are about.
And you've created some incredible products because of it. So if you don't mind, I'd love to just kind of run through. We've already touched upon a lot of them, but I just want to run through the brand's hero products, which is free, all of them, because I think they're all worth talking about. So we have obviously the OG, the deodorant bomb,
the deodorant,
and the assistant, which is the key. Let's talk about the assistant for a second.
I think we invented it, but it's obviously this existed before. It's a tube squeezer. That's what people call it. We called it the assistant because every star needs one.
Yeah.
But we reinvented the end so that you can pierce the tube because it's got a film seal inside it, and then you pop it on the end of the tube and you use it to wind down and get every last drop out. We call it the key to zero waste, and it's stunning. Looks sexy.
And it has a nice heaviness to it. Like it feels very luxurious.
A little weighty.
That's what we love.
We've got the applicator, which is our golden gua sha tool. So we created this because it really encourages lymphatic drainage under the underarms. That's the highest concentration of lymph nodes. So you do a specialist little massage across the chest, down the arm and down the neck 8 times. And you feel the physical difference. You feel energized. And it's just to encourage a healthy immune system.
It's a bit of a ritual.
What product would you suggest to use with that? The body oil?
The deodorant and the body oil.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then our body oil.
We don't have it in front of us right now.
Wait, do I have one?
Right.
Oh, I have one. I have Orange Grove body oil. Let me pull it out.
Winning awards left, right, and centre at the moment, that body oil.
I love this stuff. And I love Orange Grove. I love the scent of Orange Grove because it's not too orangey. Like, I'm not a big citrus person, but it doesn't. It has a nice like mix of you have neroli in here as well. So this is the body oil.
Yeah, it's a bit green and woodsy as well as a dash of citrus.
Yeah.
Petitgrain is the main fragrance note in there, which is the twigs and the leaves of the orange tree. But what's great about a body oil is that it dries and absorbs instantly into the skin, but it keeps this gorgeous golden glow on the skin. So it's like you're standing under the spotlight on stage, radiating energy and light.
It's not greasy. It's so wonderful. I had it on for a little soiree at the weekend, and everyone was like, "Your legs are so gorgeous." I was like, "Got my oil on."
I got my own product on.
Yeah, literally. You should try it.
Yeah. So you have the deodorant. We have the assistant, the body wash concentrate, which you talked about. You just need a tiny little bit mixed with water.
Body wash concentrate also in a tube. And then,
also comes in the tube, yes.
Yeah, then we've got our body conditioning balm. Body conditioning as dancers is when you do your leg raises, your sit-ups. It's all about firming, tightening the skin. So on stage, when you've got horrible downlighting, you look snatched, as we say in the UK. So this is it's a very thick, luxurious moisturizer. It's a shea and cocoa base. It's also got a bit of lactic acid in there to do gentle exfoliation. So it's great for KP skin on the back of the arms. But it's got a magic ingredient called Gactyline Intense, which is clinically proven to firm and tighten the skin. So great for crepey skin on the neck and deck.
And hands. I use it on my hands and neck every night because that's the bit that's going to age.
And then, of course, you have the scrub, obviously. Yes, the scrub to foaming.
A little bit of newness for you.
Tell us.
So, depending on when this has launched, this podcast, we've got a new product called The Haze, which is a deodorizing body mist. So, this is our fragrance offering. Our customers are in love with our fragrances, but we wanted to bring that to life with a little bit of innovation. We're famous for deodorant. So, let's put a little bit of a deodorant active in there. So, not only can you mist yourself for an incredible fragrance all day, but if you need a refresh during the day, you shouldn't need to because you're using the deodorant balm by AKT London. You can just do a quick spray under each arm and it will deodorize. So this is great if you're going to the gym, you're doing a Barry's boot camp, you're doing your hot yoga. Afterwards, you can just do a little touch up if you haven't got time for a shower, or if you're at a festival and you're dancing hard, you can just do a little spritz to refresh. But it's
for all over the body again. It's got skincare ingredients in as well, but the most important thing is that deodorizing bit and the fragrance level. Why did this come about? Tell the story, because that's
I know there has to be a story. We know there is.
So I was on a train actually, and it was a really hot day in the UK. We don't have air conditioning. Don't know why. It's 2026. It's very hot. And so everybody was just sweating and smelling. And this poor girl, she pulled out a body mist, one that we all know, and she sprayed it under her underarms, and it just permeated this vanilla caramel onion smell throughout the carriage. And she was so embarrassed by it. And I was like, well, I know two great guys who make a fantastic deodorant.
Let's fix that.
Yeah, if you want a good fragrance, you want something on the go. So that's why we created The Haze. And the name The Haze is because of our theatrical roots. It's what's often used in theatre to kind of segue into a dream ballet, taking you into a different world. And that's what our fragrances are all about. It's all about transporting you through to a different world.
Yeah, which is available in all of our fragrances, by the way. It's actually longer lasting than a regular body mist. It's a little bit stronger. That's the aim.
Oh, and it's alcohol free.
Yes.
Which is quite a new innovation, but it doesn't give you a wet feel on the skin.
Available in Sephora and Space NK.
While you spritz yourself, ooh, it's like a nice it actually does have a haze. Yeah, that's great. Well, let's just in case people are unfamiliar, let's just run through the scents really quick.
We've got Orange Grove, which is Pentagram, Mandarin, and Neroli. Our orange tube. Then we've got the grey one, which is After Thunder, Scene 2, which is cedar, eucalyptus, and bitter orange. Stunning.
Like a walk through the woods after a thunderstorm.
Yeah, delicious. Scene 3 is the Onsen, which is inspired by Japanese natural springs. So it's vetiver, lavandin, and yuzu. Very aromatherapy world. This is our relaxation, beautiful spa-like fragrance. Scene 4 we don't have with us here is our green one, inspired by the Aegean Sea. You got it. There it is. It's so nice. It's called Halcyon Summers, which is harking back to your favourite summertime. So it's mint, pomelo, and tomato vine, which is literally summer in a tube. It's delicious, inspired by Grecian islands. Then we've got Columbia Road, which is our pink guy here, which is amber, violet, and tonka, inspired by Columbia Road Flower Market, the really famous, it's my favourite date spot on a Sunday in London. It's gorgeous East London flower market where you can imagine everyone shouting for flowers, but it's not just floral, it's about the cut stems and the coffee and the lemon sunlight coming over the tops of the houses. It's a stunner.
Whimsical.
Yes.
And then we've got a brand new fragrance launching this September.
Exclusive.
This is an exclusive for you.
Ooh.
This Santal Nomad, which is saffron, sandalwood, and leather.
Coming in the deodorant and the body mist.
Oh.
It is unbelievable.
It's going to be a game changer for the brand, this one, because it literally smells like heaven.
Oh.
Warm, it's spicy, it's got honeyed saffron, a light orange note in there, the leather, which supports underneath.
It's so Santal Nomad. A nomad is someone that loves to travel and is well cultured. And obviously Santal is that stunning fragrance that most people love. We've created this world that feels well cultured and well travelled. It's beautiful.
Imagine you're sitting around the hearth in a desert telling stories of legends as the sun is peeking over in the morning, inviting the adventure.
Yeah.
I love it.
that deep saffron color. So the campaign was filmed on Friday. So keep an eye out for that coming out
Ooh.
in September.
I know you said people tend to, I go back and forth, but do you have a best-selling fragrance? Do you know if there's a best-selling one?
This one probably leads the most after Thunder, closely
Okay.
followed by Columbia Road.
It alternates. I think it's
Yeah.
a time of year thing because this guy's having a sudden spike at the moment.
None of us know
And
why.
we don't know why, but because fragrances do go through waves of trend, and like tomato was a big thing, and apparently bananas coming in now and things like that. So we're kind of seeing what happens with that, but it tends to alternate between grey, orange, and the lilac color as our top runners. In Sephora, this is our bestseller. On our website, this is our bestseller. So it depends where you are, who you are.
Where you are. Yeah. And for anyone who's interested in trying, you do have that discovery set available where you can try all of the scents.
All of our mini tubes, which is about 7 days worth of deodorant in each one.
Or if you have a favorite, you have the ensemble where you have everything available in that scent, which
You
is
can
also
get it all of it.
You
Every
could take your
product.
pick, yeah.
Yeah, and you can layer fragrances as well. I tend to wash with Columbia Road, but I'm wearing After Thunder as deodorant, and I've actually got Santal spray on today, and they mix so well because they're so mature. Mature's the wrong word.
Yeah.
Grown up.
Fine.
Yeah, fine fragrances that don't overpower.
Refined.
Fine. And it's a really nice way of layering, especially if your body oil is Columbia Road, for example, and then you've got. I had hay fever on the other day, which is our sold out fragrance. I've still got one tube left.
Hay Fever was our limited edition last year.
Ooh, what was that scent?
That was Earl Grey, Marmalade, and English Rose.
Wow.
It was a very sort of
Stunning.
whimsical throwback to summers in England. I think sort of ridiculous.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, Wimbledon. Hay Fever is actually a Noel Coward play, which we took the inspiration on. So it's all about this very eccentric theatrical family in the country that play games with guests that come to visit.
That's the first film we made, which is on our Instagram or on YouTube.
Scroll back a bit.
Take a look at that. It was out last summer, and it's sold out. And that's the first time we did a full fragrance film where we actually put the Noel Coward estate gave us the rights to use part of the play, so we made a film trailer as if we'd made the film of Hay Fever. And it's always style, but meets Wes Anderson and that White Lotus level of beauty.
How did that feel as performers to have Noel's estate give you like that? Must have been like a whole other level of.
He is Noel Coward in a different life.
So Hay Fever is one of my favourite plays. I think it's so silly and eccentric. It's very me.
Yeah. That's how Noel Coward talks, by the way.
So when I pitched it to the company, Andy completely got it. He was like, "This is great. Hay Fever is the name for fragrance. Brilliant." The rest of the company were like, "You can't call it hay fever. They'll think it's medicine." And then because I think we just kind of went down that track, like the Noel Coward estate just got behind us. We just reached out to them. We were like, "Hey, we're doing this," and they were like, "Oh my god, yes, do it! What a great idea!"
I know, performers, yeah, the theater industry from beginning to end, yeah.
We even did the launch of the fragrance at the theatre where Hay Fever premiered 100 years ago to the day. So it was like the centenary of Hay Fever in the West End.
All because of our contact.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, that's such a cool, like you said, full circle. Not that you're near done, but just that full circle moment of just like the theater community once again just kind of coming together to support you. Neither of you, as you've said, have come from the beauty industry, which could have been seen as a disadvantage. But looking back now, do you think that being outsiders actually allowed you to build ACT differently than if you had come from the industry?
I definitely.
Yeah.
I think when we first started, obviously we were thinking what's the role that we have to play to be a professional in the beauty industry. And then once we fully embraced like who we are, our story, our eccentricity, the fact that we are creatives, I think that's been the success of ACT. That's been the magic of ACT, because we've got the permission as people from that background as skilled performers and directors and choreographers. Like, we can just do whatever we want and
Not
we'll do it
what-
well.
It's I think the naivety we had towards it all, because we would not naive sounds like we were messing around. We were
Open to learning.
wanting to learn as well, and it was sort of a whole new industry, and we weren't afraid to speak to anyone or ask questions because we had this innate confidence as performers. So we were speaking to huge people early on and just saying, can you just help us or give us advice? And
I think that's been our skill. Like, the magic again is like, we're not pretending to be something that we're not. And I think a lot of people in the corporate world fall into this trap of, well, I'm a manager or I'm in C-suite and you have to behave in a certain professional way. And we hate that. It's a massive turn-off. And like, the culture of ACT feels like we're in a theatre company. It's very silly. We have good banter, but at the end of the day, as soon as that curtain goes up, we're ready to perform and give it the best performance you've ever seen.
we won an award at the CEW Awards 2 weeks ago, and that was the first time when we got on stage and accepted the award, the entire UK beauty industry knew who we were. We've been at this for a good 5-6 years, and that was a real moment when we both went, oh my God, we've actually done it. Like, everyone actually now knows what ACT is in the UK, especially. We're obviously still growing in the US, but over here, we're officially part of that industry, and people welcome us with open arms because we've been so open, honest, and authentic. We haven't tried to, create products for the sake of it. We haven't been mean girls in this industry and pushed people out to fit ours in. We've made a full body care range because that industry allows it, and so many people have helped us. So we're so grateful for the beauty industry. It's a wonderful place to work.
And also, as a performer, like, you have to learn, it's a lot of collaboration, it's a lot of teamwork, it's a lot of working together. And so for you to take that with you, I think that is a great advantage for you, because you were then more willing to ask for help and to receive it as well. That's a very helpful skill that crosses over from performing. It's like that teamwork and collaboration is just so important, especially if you're building something from scratch.
I think a lot of our peers in the theatre often forget that they possess those skills. And for us, when we're looking at hiring people in our team, if they've got a background where they've done, community theatre, or maybe they did drama at school, the skills that you learn there, maybe you think it is just razzmatazz and jazz hands, but it's about collaborating. It's about hearing other people's opinions. How do you navigate that social dynamic? And then how do you get your point across, but not bulldozing? And it's a really fine skill that theatre people possess, more so than muggles, as we say.
But most of them, they realise, until you put it into action, you don't realise how transferable they are. 5 years ago, we would never believe the rooms that we are in and able to hold court in, essentially. People, when we came off stage at CEW, people were going, you guys are just so natural on stage. It just comes out. We're obsessed and it's captivating. We're like, but we just made it up on the spot. That's just how we speak. We didn't have a speech prepared. And I think that's a little bit of magic that we possess, that we want to let the theatre industry know, you guys are magic. So even if you're not in work, just remember you've got a lot of skills. If you want to transition into different careers, it's possible.
Also, the hardest working people 8 shows a week is no joke. Yeah.
Well, like, when you're out of work as much as you're in work. So it's like, how do you get the paycheck?
Yeah. This was born out of a need for a deodorant, but born out of a need for a little sideline, like we said earlier. Yeah. And it just became the full time. It's mad. It's a mad journey.
And you've spent much of your careers obviously helping tell other people's stories on stage as performers, but building ACT meant telling your own story instead, and kind of leading with your own personalities and your own backgrounds. How did that shift the way that you thought about creativity and how you express it in this different way?
I think a lot of performers find it very hard to be themselves. That's almost what attracts people to the theatre world, is that you get to pretend to be something else. And I think that was a learning curve for us. Like, if you look back at some of our early videos, when we did that first Kickstarter campaign, for some reason, my voice is pitched down like 3 octaves. We're both speaking really slowly.
Hello, this is the deodorant that we made in our kitchen.
And like having to be, especially now with Instagram, like having to be on camera and being a founder that's very front facing.
Yeah.
It took a while to learn how to be ourselves again.
You're so right. You're so right. We've lived behind scripts and behind characters for so long. It was hard to be ourselves, but
now we're dead good at it.
But now we've sort of taken on the roles as founders, and it's become a thing for us to be. We're not hiding ourselves, but it's almost been a nice personal
self-discovery.
I never
A little catharsis too, maybe just letting yourself just be who you are, and then also expressing your creativity through different ways.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not performing on a stage, but you're expressing it with the short films you make, with the fragrances, with the way that you're naming things. It's just like a different outlet for your creativity, but it's not someone else's this time, it's yours.
Yeah. And a lot of therapy.
God bless therapy. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate having you both and telling the story. And it is a great story, and to be still so connected to the theater community is so special. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Of course.
Those were the Chronicles of AKT London. Let me know what you thought of our conversation. If you've ever tried the brand, if you're now interested in trying a deodorant bomb, definitely leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And also check out my Instagram and Substack this week. I'm going to have some deeper dives on their newer products and scents. And if you have any questions, you can always ask them over there as well. Special thank you again to Ed and Andy for taking the time to chat with me. I loved having them on the podcast. And thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and share as well. And I'll see you next time on the Cosmetic Chronicles.